Don't you just love shortcuts? Like, I am such a crazy, crazy fan of shortcuts. It might be my competitive nature. But basically today we're talking about which of all real estate strategies is best. And you know what? When I went and asked my very first mentor which was best, I was not satisfied with the response. So I went to another mentor and I asked him which was best. And I was not satisfied. And my third mentor gave me an unsatisfactory response. I am really hoping today that I can give you a completely satisfactory response to which strategy is best. Now, when you're the student and you're trying to learn everything you can from your mentor, it doesn't bode well to try and argue with them. But I found myself in this really passionate debate because they were doing this one strategy that was a flip, and then they were doing this other seller financing deal, and then they were doing this hard money lending deal. I said, but which one's best? And their answer was, well, they're all the best. I'm like, they can't all be the best. I mean, my brain is fairly mathematical, right? So I'm like, if I had to walk from here to Safeway or the grocery store, there's a fastest way to walk there. And the way back is probably going to be the same way. Probably. Mathematically, there's got to be a route with the shortest steps. And when I went to my three mentors and I asked them this question, they couldn't give me a satisfactory response. And I figured out why. The reason I couldn't get a satisfactory response was because they said, Kris, who even defines what's best? Is best makes the most money? Because then we would say it would be this strategy, but then it would have crazy amounts of risk. So do you think best is the most profit with the most risk? So it's a thought-provoking question. And to give you a good answer, I want to take you through a journey that I went on to really figure out which was best, because I'm going to give you an answer and it is going to be satisfying, but it's going to be biased based on these 6 things. So here was the question. Which of these strategies is best? And to really get to the answer of this, you have to know what you're searching for. What's your definition? What's your bias? So I said, well, for starters, I don't want it to take a lot of time. So I'm looking for something that takes the least time, because at that point in my life, I was working full time. I was going to school full time. And dude, I felt like I was just totally maxed out. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but dude, I was getting up at 5 or 6 in the morning, racing to campus by 7 a.m. By 11 o'clock, I was racing to my job. I'd be there some nights till 8, 9, or 10 p.m. Go home to hours of homework only to start it all over again the next day. This was not my definition of a happy life, but I did it for years. And so I wanted to know, all right, I'm a full-time student, I got a full-time job, so what strategy can I do that will take very minimal time, because I don't have a whole lot of it. By the way, I did this ultra part-time on the side and made all this money. And part of it was because I needed a strategy that would be very passive. I didn't want to put in tons of time. So I was looking for something with the least time. The next thing that I was looking for, how hard was this going to be? Was this going to be tons of effort or a little bit of effort? Because it's one thing to put time in, but dude, is this going to be hard or easy? Because if it's hard, dude, I don't want that. So that was my bias. I don't want it to take a lot of time, and I don't want it to be hard. I want it to be easy. So far, so good. The third thing that I was looking for when it came to risk is I said, well, shoot, I don't want this thing to be crazy risky either. I want something that will have moderate or low amount of risk compared to the reward, right? My risk to reward ratio, I wanted to be in line. Because dude, there are some forms of real estate like tax deeds where you can oh my gosh, bore me out of my mind. It'll take me forever to get rich and I'm earning low ROI because I have no risk. And then you go flipping, you're yeah, you can flip this deal, make $100,000, but you might lose everything. I'm there's got to be a middle ground on risk. So I said, I want it to require the least time, the least effort, the least risk, least. But then my fourth criteria was something, I was trying to find a way I was trying to learn as much as I could without sticking my head in a garbage can. Sometimes you don't want life's bad experiences to be your teacher. Sometimes you want other people's bad experiences to be your teacher. And I had known enough older people with gray hair that said, I remember when the real estate market crashed and I lost everything. I'm oh, the market goes up and down. So I thought to myself, I need something that can be insulated from the market going up and down. So I'm looking for something that works in up and down markets. Because who wants to have a decade of success and then lose it all? Doesn't that sound like the definition of futility? That didn't seem really cool to me. Fifth criteria, service. I didn't want to chase ambulances in real estate. It's like, oh, I can find all the people that are so hurt so I can prey upon them. It's like, who are the people that are delved steeped in misfortune so that I can take advantage? Like, that stuff exists, right? If you get out there, you're going to see some of that. And it's like, I want to be the solution. And that doesn't mean you can't provide solution to the people and problems, but dude, when you try to get one-sided, like I'm going to take advantage of them because they're in misfortune, I wasn't interested in that. I wanted to know what would create value, right? I mean, businesses succeed based on their ability to generate value. So if I'm going to do real estate, I want something that will benefit more than just me. I want it to benefit other people. And my 6 criteria that I came up with, my final criteria, ta-da, had to be profitable, right? I mean, the thing's got to make money. How much money was this thing going to make? Was it going to make a lot of money? Was it going to make a little money? So I created an algorithm and I started comparing all strategies. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to go on a fun little journey. Check this out. For just a moment, as we look at all these, let's actually compare some of the most well-known real estate strategies. Let's do right here, we're going to do R for rentals, and we're going to do F for flips. And let's just do a quick little comparison, little checkbox. So for example, let's compare these two just side by side for a moment. Rentals versus flips. Do they take a lot of time or a little bit of time? Well, rentals, if you're the property manager after you bought the home, they actually take a lot of time. So that's a frowny face. And what about flips? Well, flips, dude, you can put hundreds of hours into a property that takes months before you sell it. Dude, it's like a full-time job on the side. So I didn't like either of those strategies. And this will happen. Sometimes you won't find things that work. Next is effort, like rentals versus flips. Which one takes more effort? Well, doing a rental is not necessarily hard work, fixing a drain, fixing a toilet, some of that stuff. So I'm going to put a smiley face here and say it may take a lot of time, but at least it's not hard stuff. Flipping, on the other hand, there are so many different areas of expertise you might need to get into that you don't know how to do. Like, I got to do drywall and then I got to change out this pipes and then freaking the furnace breaks down and there's a leak in the roof. That takes a lot of knowledge to have it done correctly. So I'm actually going to say that effort is also a frowny face for flipping when it comes over here. Risk. Rentals and versus flips. Which one of those two do you think has more risk? Dude, hands down, flipping has way more risk. But you know what? Rentals, when you first own them, if you didn't buy them right, dude, there's not a lot of cash flow and you can put hours a week into the property. You don't know when it's going to come calling. I know people that will own a rental for 5 years and they'll still sell it upside down. Like, it's kind of scary that people don't understand that. So I'm actually going to say that there's too much of a risk over here on this one. Works in both up and down markets. Flipping, I'm going to tell you right now, when the market comes crashing and you get caught on a flip and you can't recover, you lose everything. Same thing in real estate development. So that one's also a big frowny face. Don't worry, it's not all frownies, I think. As far as works in up and down markets, guess what? People always need a place to rent. So rentals definitely, if you stay under the median, rentals definitely work. Service. Are we like really providing a service and helping people? Well, dude, at least on a rental, dude, people need a place to live. I'll go smiley face. And on flipping, you're giving a lot of people work as you're doing that process. I like that. I think you're taking care of a lot of people on that one. And then on profits, guess what? On rentals, the profits are kind of like this. Meh. That's constipation. And over here, profits here are actually like, they can be right here, but they can also be right here. And we're going to say this is a tongue. Okay, so we've got these two guys and we got our frowny faces and we got our smiley faces and then our weirdo faces. When I looked at this, these are just two strategies. If you read my book, Straight Path to Real Estate Wealth, kriskrohn.com, you can pick up a copy of this. I actually show you my comparison on a number of strategies. And after comparing the top 30, do you know what emerged the best? Yes, this is the drum roll for the whole video. Like, we finally got there, which is I actually do something that I call compassionate financing. It's actually a lot like a lease option with a twist and significantly better. And guess what? Out of 30 strategies on compassionate financing, the amount of time that it takes to help take a home and put a family in it that will eventually buy it from you, which is what this strategy is. Dude, it's cool. You make $5,000 up front on average. You make $500 each month that you own the property, and then you make tens of thousands of dollars when you sell it. So it's awesome. So with that understanding, when it comes to time, it is very little time. So when you look at compassionate financing, when it comes to time, guess what? It takes very little time. Effort, it takes very little effort. Risk, it takes very little risk. Works in up and down markets, 100% heck yes. Service, really big smile on that one. And profitable, really big smile on that one. It's got 6 smiles across the board. Now, this doesn't look very mathematical in my book. I really document it a lot more thoroughly. But I want you to know that there is a best strategy out there for a beginner. There are even superior strategies when you start accumulating massive amounts of wealth. There's strategies for people with nothing. Start here. Compassionate financing, lease options, this style, this way. And if you want to learn how to do that, click the link and it'll guide you to some information that I think is helpful. You'll get to see people on there, like a video of one of my guys that made over $1 million and others that are just brand new. They joined my private real estate club just for my YouTubers, YouTube friends and fans. And you know, he did 3 deals, he did 2 deals, he made 75,000. Like it's very cool. So you can get that information. More importantly, you can request to speak to a member of my team and say, hey, what does it look like to actually mentor with Kris and actually learn these things so that I can go out there and crush it in my life? Dude, I'm just so pumped and excited. Like this YouTube channel, it's doing well. It's creating value for millions of people. We are breaking hundreds of thousands of subscribers, which is really what the intention is. It's to take time to give back and help as many people as possible. So from these videos alone, I hope they're edifying and building and growing your life. And if you want to do something for yourself that will help you take that up a notch, make sure you're a subscriber and make sure you ring the bell. I'll notify you every day. My goal is to have a video come out every day that can help you develop the millionaire mindset, help you learn smarter ways of doing things, help you learn from my mistakes in the world of real estate and wealth, and most importantly, learn how to be the absolute most successful, happiest version of you that you can possibly be.